Imagine standing on the frozen Paleolithic tundra, hyper-aware that your last meal was consumed 3 full days ago. Your stomach hollows with intense hunger, yet your brain sharpens and your limbs surge with unexpected focused energy. This was not a rare metabolic emergency for our ancient ancestors, but their standard everyday biological reality. Long before grocery shelves, fast food chains, and refrigeration existed, survival depended entirely upon handling prolonged starvation. How did early hominids endure relentless famine while retaining the strength to hunt massive, dangerous apex predators? The secret lies within millions of years of evolutionary adaptation, metabolic flexibility, and incredible psychological resilience. When modern humans skip a single meal, sugar crashes often cause immediate irritability, brain fog, and severe fatigue. However, early hunter-gatherers experienced a completely different physiological response when food supplies suddenly dried up. During the initial hours without food, the liver rapidly breaks down stored glycogen to supply vital blood glucose. Once glycogen reserves deplete after roughly 18 hours, the human body initiates a powerful metabolic transformation. Pancreatic insulin levels drop significantly, signaling fat cells to release stored fatty acids directly into the bloodstream. The liver converts these circulating fatty acids into energetic molecules known as ketones, fuel for the brain. Ketones cross the blood-brain barrier smoothly, providing a remarkably steady energy source that prevents mental fog. Rather than becoming lethargic, fasting ancient humans actually experienced enhanced focus, heightened senses, and improved cognition. Evolution prioritized mental clarity during fasting because a sluggish, confused hunter would inevitably starve to death. Human brain cells upregulated brain-derived neurotrophic factor, boosting neural plasticity and sharp environmental awareness. Simultaneously, human adrenal glands secreted surges of epinephrine and norepinephrine, maintaining physical alertness and muscle power. This internal chemical cocktail transformed an empty stomach into an aggressive drive to track and capture prey. Ancient hunters did not view hunger as a debilitating weakness, but as a biological trigger for peak physical performance. While individual biology provided metabolic endurance, early humans relied heavily on ingenious foraging tactics to manage daily hunger. Gatherers meticulously mapped their regional ecosystems, memorizing seasons for wild tubers, hardy roots, fibrous seeds, and seasonal berries. These plant foods were often bitter and fibrous, but they offered essential carbohydrates, micronutrients, and hydration during lean months. When plant foods became scarce during harsh winters, opportunistic scavenging became a critical strategy for survival. Hominids followed predatory carnivores like saber-toothed cats, waiting patiently for them to abandon their fresh kills. While apex predators consumed muscle meat, ancient humans utilized heavy stone tools to crack open massive fossilized limb bones. Inside lay nutrient-dense bone marrow, rich in healthy lipids, fat-soluble vitamins, and calories protected from bacterial contamination. Marrow provided a reliable food source that sustained small bands of early humans through long periods of game scarcity. Furthermore, hominids targeted animal skulls to extract nutrient-dense brain tissue, another concentrated source of vital essential fats. This heavy consumption of dense animal fats supplied the dense calories necessary to fuel expanding human brains. As hunting technologies evolved, ancient tribes developed sophisticated methods to secure high-yield animal meat directly. One of the most effective ancient hunting strategies was persistence hunting, exploiting human thermoregulation against fleeing animals. Unlike furry quadrupeds that easily overheat, humans possess millions of sweat glands and hairless skin for efficient cooling. Hunters would select a large antelope and chase it relentlessly under the scorching midday sun for several hours. Although animals ran faster in short bursts, they could not pant fast enough to shed excessive internal body heat. Eventually, the exhausted prey collapsed from heat stroke, allowing human hunters to secure a massive calorie haul safely. Securing a large animal carcass triggered a period of celebratory abundance within the Paleolithic hunting community. Because fresh meat spoiled quickly without modern preservation, tribes engaged in immediate, massive feast or famine consumption cycles. A single individual could consume up to 10 pounds of meat and fat in a single sitting after prolonged fasting. Human physiology adapted to store surplus calories rapidly as adipose tissue, creating biological energy reserves for future famines. This thrifty gene hypothesis suggests that humans who efficiently stored body fat possessed a significant survival advantage. However, relying solely on immediate consumption was risky, prompting ancient humans to invent primitive food preservation methods. Early hunter-gatherers sliced surplus meat into thin strips and hung them over smoky fires to dry thoroughly. Desiccation removed moisture, preventing bacterial growth and extending the shelf life of meat for several additional weeks. In colder regions, ancestral groups utilized natural ice caves and frozen riverbeds as crude Paleolithic freezers. They also pioneered pemmican, pounding dried meat with rendered fat and wild berries to create nutrient-dense energy bars. Pemmican could remain edible for months or even years, providing reliable emergency sustenance during brutal winter migrations. Fermentation also played a crucial role, allowing ancestral humans to preserve fish and plant roots safely. Burying organic materials underground allowed beneficial microbes to break down sugars and produce protective organic acids. Beyond physical adaptations and food preservation, social cooperation served as the ultimate defense against chronic starvation. Hunting in Paleolithic landscapes was inherently unpredictable, with successful kills occurring irregularly across different hunting parties. To mitigate individual risk, early human bands enforced strict cultural norms demanding mandatory sharing of hunted meat. A hunter who shared his bounty today was guaranteed reciprocal meat sharing when his own hunts failed tomorrow. This reciprocal altruism turned social bonds into an insurance policy, buffering every tribe member against sudden famines. Elders, injured hunters, and young children were protected by the collective hunting efforts of the healthy adults. Furthermore, communal cooking around controlled fires fostered social bonding while making food easier to digest and absorb. Thermal processing predigested tough fibers and proteins, allowing human guts to shrink while brain sizes expanded rapidly. Fire also enabled ancient humans to detoxify tubers and plants that would otherwise cause gastrointestinal distress or illness. Despite these remarkable adaptations, prolonged famines caused by sudden ecological shifts still severely tested human endurance. During multi-week famines, human bodies initiated cellular cleanup processes to preserve vital organ integrity and muscle mass. This process, known today as autophagy, degrades damaged proteins and cellular debris to recycle essential amino acids. Autophagy cleansed ancient human cells, repairing internal damage and maintaining vital physiological functions during prolonged food deprivation. Growth hormone production also spiked significantly during extended fasts, protecting lean muscle tissue from systemic catabolism. These intricate cellular survival mechanisms allowed ancestral humans to endure weeks without food without losing physical strength. Water consumption remained vital, and early humans learned to locate underground springs and water-rich desert plants. They carried water in ostrich eggshells and animal bladders, enabling long expeditions across arid, hostile landscapes. The transition from nomadic foraging to settled agriculture roughly 10,000 years ago fundamentally altered human interaction with hunger. Farming provided predictable crop yields but reduced dietary diversity and made populations vulnerable to catastrophic crop failures. Early agrarian societies experienced frequent seasonal famines when droughts or pests destroyed primary monoculture staple crops. Skeletal records show early farmers suffered more malnutrition and stunted growth compared to their robust hunter-gatherer ancestors. Yet, the agricultural revolution permanently established permanent food storage infrastructures like grain granaries and clay pottery. Today, modern humans live in an environment completely detached from the evolutionary pressures that forged our biology. Constant access to hyper-palatable, ultra-processed, calorie-dense foods has virtually eliminated acute ancestral hunger from daily life. However, this modern abundance has triggered widespread metabolic dysfunction, obesity, insulin resistance, and chronic systemic inflammation. Our bodies remain genetically hardwired for the feast or famine cycles that sustained Paleolithic hunter-gatherers for millions of years. When we eat constantly without periods of fasting, our bodies lose their innate ability to burn stored body fat efficiently. This loss of metabolic flexibility leaves modern individuals reliant on constant glucose intake to prevent energy crashes. Modern intermittent fasting practices attempt to recreate the ancestral biological state by intentionally delaying daily food intake. By allowing insulin levels to drop, intermittent fasting activates ancient pathways of lipolysis, autophagy, and cellular rejuvenation. Understanding how ancient humans handled hunger provides profound insights into optimizing our own modern health and longevity. Hunger was not merely an uncomfortable sensation to be avoided, but a powerful evolutionary sculptor of human biology. It drove cognitive evolution, fostered deep social bonds, and created a resilient species capable of colonizing the entire globe. Exploring how ancestral gut microbiomes adapted to variable food availability reveals another layer of incredible biological resilience. Ancient humans hosted diverse microbial populations capable of extracting maximum energy from complex plant fibers and tough game meat. During periods of fasting, specific gut bacteria fed on the mucosal lining of the intestines, maintaining intestinal barrier integrity. When food was plentiful, microbial diversity surged, producing beneficial short-chain fatty acids that regulated inflammation and energy metabolism. The loss of this microbial diversity in modern humans further complicates our metabolic relationship with frequent daily meals. Another crucial factor in ancestral hunger management was the psychological mindset surrounding food scarcity and communal survival. Ancestral humans did not experience the psychological stress and anxiety often associated with modern diet restrictions or emotional eating. Food was viewed objectively as fuel and a shared communal resource rather than an emotional coping mechanism or pastime. Fasting was a natural shared experience, reinforcing social cohesion as tribes navigated lean periods together with shared determination. Rituals and storytelling around the campfire helped maintain morale during prolonged hunts and harsh, food-scarce winter months. Physical movement during fasting was also uniquely optimized, as early humans performed light walking and trekking without exhausting reserves. Low-intensity physical activity promoted fat oxidation while preserving valuable muscle glycogen for explosive bursts during the final hunt. This balance of energy expenditure allowed hunters to travel vast distances across rugged landscapes despite having empty stomachs. Modern exercise science confirms that low-intensity fasted movement maximizes fat burning and enhances mitochondrial biogenesis in muscle cells. Furthermore, exposure to environmental cold during hunts activated brown adipose tissue, generating heat and burning calories rapidly. Brown fat activation helped ancient humans maintain core body temperature during freezing weather without needing continuous caloric intake. The synergy between cold exposure, fasting, and physical activity created a metabolic state of peak physiological efficiency. As we analyze these ancestral mechanisms, it becomes clear that modern lifestyle habits often work against our genetic design. Constant snacking prevents our digestive systems from entering resting states, suppressing essential repair mechanisms like autophagy and cellular cleanup. Reintroducing structured periods of fasting can help restore metabolic flexibility and improve overall cardiovascular and cognitive health. Simple practices like extending nighttime fasts or delaying breakfast align our physiology more closely with our evolutionary heritage. Embracing ancestral wisdom does not mean returning to Paleolithic hardship, but rather using biological insights to thrive today. By understanding how ancient humans handled hunger, we gain appreciation for the incredible adaptability of the human body. Our ancestors survived extreme scarcity so that we could inherit a genome optimized for endurance, strength, and vitality. Tapping into this ancient potential requires only that we give our bodies periodic relief from constant modern consumption. As you navigate your daily nutrition, remember that your body is built on millions of years of survival mastery. Respecting this biological legacy empowers us to cultivate lifelong health, mental clarity, and enduring physical resilience.